Hi. You have a nice loop with the drum loop and a set of chords, but you don't know how to generate the IDs. You want to create some melodies, maybe a bass line. In this case, the arpeggiator is your best friend. In this exercise, we'll go from a drum loop and a set of chords, and we'll create a bass line and two set of melodies to garnish the track that we want to build. So let's dig in. This is the loop that we'll be playing with. We'll add a bass line and two melody line on top. So what we'll do, let's hear it first. We want to create a new track with the chords, so we duplicate the chords track. We add an arpeggiator here, and let's call it arp chords. And each time we create a new MIDI track, so for example for the bass, what we will do is we'll have the MIDI coming from the arp chords in, and we'll be recording the MIDI signals coming from this track. So let's test it. See? So we see the notes, and this is what we want to do. We'll try different sets of notes, and then we'll change or add the instrument that we want to use for the specific track. For the bass, what we'll do is we'll go to these ARP chords and we'll deactivate all the notes but the two below notes, the lower notes of the chord. So we'll keep the C, the E in the first chord and the D and the F in the second chord. So we can select the rest and click on 0. It will deactivate the notes. Now let's take a listen. Okay, since we're doing the bass, we'll make sure that everything is quantized properly. So let's click on right click and quantize. I need to change the grid and then quantize again. And here everything is perfectly quantized. Okay. One other thing that you want to do, since the chords will be playing from C3 to D4, the bass needs to be playing lower. So we'll select all the notes and we'll click on Command Shift down. And here everything is transposed one octave below. Okay. So now we'll play with the arpeggiator until we find something that we like. And we'll play it with the chords. The bass, you can keep it simple. So in this case, I'll just mute the first notes to create some variation in the bass line. So let's record this. Now that we have our bass line, let's rename it. We'll call it bass. And at the beginning, when you create the melodies, let's keep your process simple and use the piano just to make sure that we're using the right frequencies. And after that, you can work on your sound design to use the instrument that you want to be using after. So let's listen with the track without the ARP chords. And here we can remove the MIDI from the third track. Next, we want to create the other melody. As you guessed, here we're playing from C3 to D4. For the bass line, we went down an octave. So for the other one, we'll go up an octave. So let's take everything here. Let's activate all the notes and we'll go up twice. So this is for the chords and this is for the melody that we'll be using. We'll create a new MIDI track, audio from ARP chords, and let's test it out. Reactivate this track and this one will be coming in. We arm the track and we'll test some setups with the Arpeggiator. Let's take back the chords how we played them because it will create a more interesting rhythm. This one is really a bit stuck up, so we'll just copy paste it here by clicking on Alt and drag drop. I have the same MIDI track here and there. I need not to forget to put it up an octave. There we go, and let's listen. So let's record this MIDI. So here we have our bass for the higher one. Let's take the same piano that we have here. I'll click on Alt and I drop it on the new MIDI track. So this is piano L1 because it's higher, first level. Let's listen to everything. I'll mute the ARP chords. So let's create a new track. Now created a new track, MIDI from the ARP chords, which is the one that is creating melodies for us using the Arpeggiator. And of course we need to go up an octave again, not to have frequencies clashing. Here we go. And we'll play with this. So I muted the ARP chords and let's see if we find something interesting. Maybe I can mute some notes. I'll mute the notes on top. And I will quantize everything. Okay, 116. Let's try 132. And another style. Maybe this, let's listen with everything else. And let's press record. I played with the instrument and did some adjustments. Adjustment that I did is that I took the bass one octave lower. So I selected everything and clicked on Command Shift down. So everything's transposed down one octave. And I added a basic FM house bass that is coming straight from the wavetable library from Ableton. For the piano, I took a mellow piano from Contact and I added an EQ just to leave room for the bass and the kick. And for the higher one, I took a violin, a staccato violin from Contact, since we're playing a lot of notes in the same measure. I took a staccato one, and same thing, I added a EQ 8 to leave room for the bass and the kick. So and one last thing, here in the sense A and B, I like to add the bass mono and the bass stereo. So this is coming from the utility in Ableton audio effect utility. You have bass mono and bass stereo. So I'm sending the bass to the mono, and I'm sending the chords to the stereo, and I'm panning the piano to the left, and I'm panning the violin to the right, and the ARP chord, of course, well, this is deactivated. So let's take a listen. We went from a drum with 2 chords, added the bass, piano up, the violin.